So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's video, and this is going to be another tale from the bar, so yeah, let's just get straight into it. So this was set in, I believe, like 2016, that's when I was 18, I remember, because I was fresh, I was young, and I didn't really know what I was really doing, but the bar was all still kind of new to me. And I know this, I remember this, because today's story, there's another gentleman, and this Saturday night I was working with someone called Andy. Now, Andy was a few years older than me, right? He'd been in the bar scene for a while, right? He knew what was up, he knew what was happening, and I remember thinking Andy was pretty fucking cool. Something as simple like, I don't know, I think Andy could see scenarios happening before they actually happened, and I would be like, how do you know that, right? There'd be like two drunk guys staring at one another, and Andy would be like, there's a fight about to go down, and then they'd start fighting. I'd be like, how did you know? How did you know? But obviously now, you know, obvious things, but yeah, anyway, I thought Andy was pretty fucking cool. So it's a Saturday night, and me and Andy are working together. It was pretty quiet, because I remember we had time to sit and chat, right? So it wasn't the busiest of nights, but it was late on to the night. I'd say around about midnight, maybe half past midnight, right? And so me and Andy are sitting, having a wee blether, and the door swings open, right? And in walks a woman. But not just any woman, an extremely intoxicated woman, right? And I mean very intoxicated. Just like last video, right? She was swaying. She walked in, she didn't even make eye contact with anyone, right? She was just, again, just swaying, stumbling about. And me and Andy look at one another and we're like, ah, fuck, are you dealing with this situation? I look at Andy and he looks at me like, I'm not dealing with it. Are you dealing with this situation? No, I'm not dealing with it. Are you dealing with it? And as we're doing this, as we're sort of looking at one another, thinking, right, who's going to handle the situation? The woman sort of stumbles through into the back room, right? And in the back room, you can't really see from the bar, but she stumbles through into the back room. And me and Andy are still like, are you dealing with this? I'm not. So as we're doing this, she walks into the back room, and after about sort of 30 seconds or so, a heap of people that were in the back room sort of run out, and they're like, oh, right? And this catches our attention, but oh fuck, what's just happened? And as we're sort of thinking, oh, what's just going on? The woman stumbles back out, right? I mean, she's cleared out the back room, but she stumbles back out. And be like, oh fuck, what's just happened? She just stumbles out from the back room and then leaves through the same door that she came in. So now we're looking at one another like, oh no, what's just happened? So we both leave the bar and we go to have a look in the back room, and it seems alright, but there's a funny smell in the room. It's persistent. Like, oh no, what is this? And we see in sort of the far back corner, it's just a massive pile of spew. So this woman's came in, everyone's sitting there having a good time. She's came in, threw up in the corner, and that's it. She's off. She's left. Now there's this big puddle left for me and Andy to deal with. And then sort of look at one another and be like, oh, who's dealing with this? So I think we decide to do, right, we're going to do rock, paper, scissors. So rock, paper, scissors, and who's going to clean this sick? And I remember I won. And I was delighted because I didn't want to clean up this big pile of spew, so I was like, yes, nice one, I will see you in a bit. So I head back through to the bar to continue serving whilst I left Andy to deal with this mess. So I am back in the bar, right, I'm serving people, I was like, right, okay, I don't have to worry about that mess. Andy's got it, sweet. So I'm serving, right, and only a couple of minutes goes by, right? Now this was a big mess to deal with, right? So I thought, this is going to take him a good, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes, make sure the smell and everything's gone right. But after a couple of minutes, Andy sort of strolls back into the bar, right? And I remember looking at him, I was like, did you deal with the mess? He's like, yeah. I was like, how have you done with that? How have you dealt with that so quickly? I was like, there's no way that is clean. He's like, no, it's all sorted. You don't have to worry about it. I'm like, what do you mean? Why are you being so cryptic? I said he was a cooler older guy, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to trust him. So we're continuing serving, right? Getting, just working. I remember this young guy comes up to the bar and he's got a dustpan and brush. I was like, what's going on here? This guy's got a dustpan and brush filled with sick, and he brings it up to the bar and he sort of passes it to Andy, and Andy takes it, sort of throws it in the bin, and the young guy goes, so can I get that vodka and coke? And I look at Andy and he looks at me with the biggest smirk on his face. I was like, no way. So Andy gives this guy his vodka and coke, and that was the end of that. I was like, how did you get that guy to do it? He's like, I just offered him a vodka and coke. He said he'd clean up the sick. So no, this is a short one, but the moral of the story is drunk people will do anything for a drink. Thinking back to it, so why? So yeah, that's that story. Goodbye.